Hey, Moondog here. Welcome back to Moondog Industries. Today we've got a Spectre 1-6x24 LPVO sent to me by Monstrum Tactical to test and evaluate. I know the Monstrum brand really mostly for making very high quality scope mounts at a very reasonable price, but I really don't know them as an optics company, so I'm glad they reached out to me. We're going to take it out of the box. I'm going to take a close look at its features, its build quality, and then we're going to take it out to the range and give it a good test. So let's get started. Alright, I'm trying something new here. Rather than doing a typical unboxing, I'm just going to show you the contents of the box, so here they are. If you prefer a traditional unboxing video where I open up the box and in real time show you the contents, please let me know, leave me a comment. Well, leave me a comment either way. Alright, let's take a close look at the scope in detail. And I have to say, first impressions are this is a nicely built scope. Overall build quality, fit and finish looks good on first blush here. Nicely built overall. Don't mind the fingerprint marks there and a little bit of dust. That's just me. That's not how it looked like when I got it out of the box. I did install the cantilever mount here. And just let's take a minute here. This is an offset cantilever mount. And Monstrum is known for making really nice budget mounts, I have to say. Really top quality. Look at that. Even has a recoil lug there. So for those of you with large caliber rifles with high recoil. So let's take a look at this illumination knob here. It's got a CR2032 battery in there, and it came with it. And it turns pretty easily. And I'm just going to quickly put it into its maximum here so you can just take a look at it. We'll take a look at that illumination a little more in detail later, but it's both red and green, and there's 5 different settings, and B is off. I don't know why B is off. If you happen to know, leave me a comment about that, but I was wondered about that. Anyway, let's listen to these turrets. These are pop lock turrets, so you pull them up to unlock them. Not the loudest I've ever tested, but not too bad. I don't know, there's a little bit of slop on the elevation here. And one other thing, if you can see that, the zero does not line up, so that's a little disappointing, I know. But to be honest, these aren't ERL scopes, so you're not going to be constantly adjusting your elevation to hit long-range targets. Once you've got it zeroed in, you're just going to lock it in, and you can reset the zero. Just unscrew the top, pull off the cap, and set it to your zero. And once you got it locked in, you're going to stay locked in. You're just going to use your reticle holdovers for distance, at least typically for these LPVO scopes. And it is 1/2 MOA per click. So, it is what it is. It's a budget scope. Our elevation is actually more spot on as far as their zero. And it is maybe just a tad louder. Clicks again are a little dull, but tactile. You can tell when you're making a click, but it would have liked a little sharper, more definitive click on there, and far less slop on this one. So there you go. And again, also resettable. Our magnification wheel, though, it's smooth, but it is stiff. And I've tried unscrewing the screw here to see if it would change the resistance, but nope, this is super stiff. Thankfully, it does have this fin here, which functions like a throw lever, but hopefully with use this will loosen up. We'll see. One thing to note, though, just look at that. That's pretty rough, the hole they have for the screw there, and that wasn't me. There's nicks and pits over here, so that was really roughly drilled in there, and that's just bad QC. So again, this just serves as a reminder, even though this is overall a seemingly well-built scope, especially for the price, this is still a budget scope. So there you go. And our ocular, or European fast focus, very smooth. A lot of grease in there. I can hear it sort of puckering up. And just a little bit of grit at the very bottom there, but that could be where it's locking. It's not too bad. The rest of it is pretty darn smooth, and it does turn quite a bit far out. So you can see that. Definitely you'll be using this because you'll need to adjust your ocular focus with any LPVO to get it to the truly 1 power. Let's go check it out, bring it outdoors and to the range and see how well it actually performs. All right, we're at the range. I've put up some reference targets and we're going to walk back to the 100-yard benches to set up. While I do that, now would be a great time for you to hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell buttons. It just takes a second, it doesn't cost anything. You know, subscribing on YouTube is free, and more importantly, you're controlling the algorithm. You're telling it what kind of content, what kind of videos you like to watch, and what videos are good. And it'll suggest this video to other folks like you, so thank you. Okay, we're looking through the scope at its lowest power setting of 1. And we are looking at our target downrange at 100 yards, and obviously since it is 1 power, the target is very small, but there is a target downrange. So we're just looking at it at its lowest power so we can get the best sense of the overall image through this particular scope. From what I can tell, it's got pretty good sharpness from center out to the edge. A little bit of softness just at the outer edge, but not too much distortion, so that's not too bad. So as we bring this up to its maximum power of 6, you notice that we're not seeing a shift in point of aim, which is good, and not a significant change in focus. So I'm just going to adjust the focus on the camera and the exposure. At 6 power, honestly, I can't make out much other than the target itself. At the lower end of the target frame, I have my usual reference target of a previously shot target with 22 holes on it, but I can barely even make out the little dot, which is the sticker reactive target. So let's just take a look at our range of adjustments. So start with our elevation, and I'm just going to go to max. Quite a bit of adjustment. That is the top dot there, and we're going to bring it back down to the bottom here. And that is, we bottomed out there, so let me just bring it back to our rough center. All right, and let's take a look at our windage. And it's getting a little stiff. And we're getting close to the edge there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, let's go the other way. All right, then that is as far left as we can go with our windage. Oops, let me just bring this back to 0. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong target. That's why it was at 0. Let's bring it back to 0. All right, so we're going to do a box test. I'm going to use the very corner of our target frame as our reference. All right, so we're going to make a full rotation on our elevation adjustment turret. Full rotation on our windage. And then back on our elevation and turning back on our windage. And we are back to the beginning. So past the box test. Now I'm going to do our patented nipple twister test coined by my buddy Cyclops Joe. And we're just going to turn the heck out of these turrets. Alright, now we're just going to dial this back to our zeros. And we're back. So, passing up.
Of course, looking at the footage now at home, I can see we're just a hair off, and that could have been user error and me shaking the rifle. But did it pass? Did it not pass? I'll leave it up to you. Next, let's bring it up to 25 yards and see how it performs at close range. What makes LPVOs different from other scopes is that you can really dial down the magnification to nothing, or in this case 1, so that the image in your reticle should look the same with both eyes open. If it doesn't, adjust your ocular focus until it does. The scope has a good 4-inch eye relief and a very forgiving eye box, which isn't all that surprising since it is a low-power scope. I zeroed out the rifle at 25 yards and shot a 5-shot group to see if it would hold at 0. Now, bear with me, I understand this is a small caliber rifle, and I would have loved to have tested this with a 308 or a 300 Blackout or a similar high recoil build. But barring that, I thought I'd try the next best thing. I beat the scope with my ammo box. And in case you think I didn't hit the scope hard enough, well, I did end up breaking off the front lens cap, but the rest of the scope survived. I shot 6 more rounds into the target, and this is what we got. So this is a 5-shot group before, just after getting it zeroed out, and this is the 5-shot group, or actually 6-shot group, after doing the ammo box abuse test. Did 1 extra shot here just for good measure since we had a little bit of a camera mount issue, but you can see there really is no discernible difference between these 2 groups. So I would say that, yeah, the scope held at 0. Taking it off the bench and shooting it offhand. While I could shoot quickly and accurately with it, I did find that the reticle was a tad too thin and fine, like a target reticle. Thankfully, it's illuminated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in red, off, 1, 2, 3. For action shooting, you're going to have to run this fully illuminated, or this is what you're going to end up seeing. Alright, so we had a chance to try out the Monstrum Spectre, and I am actually pleasantly surprised by how well it performed, both in my long distance tests and my short range tests. Now granted, this is only a 6-power scope, so you're really not going to be doing a lot of long distance shooting with this, but it does have a reticle which allows for that. The reticle has some really fine hash marks, so if you wanted to, you could use those as reference points, as holdovers for shooting at long distance, especially for plates at over 300 yards. I think this would be perfectly fine for that, and I think that is where, for all LPVOs, your reticle really is going to be your make it or break it. You either like it, love it, or hate it. So this reticle is unique in that it's a more of a traditional long-range reticle with that unusual octagonal shaped reference center on it. Personally, I would have preferred a little beefier center dot, especially since you are using this, if you are using this in a low power at 1 power, I want something that definitely stands out from the background a bit more. So you definitely would need this with the illumination, with the reticle as it is. And in that respect, it functions very well at 1 power with either the green or the red at high power in daylight. So it works, it definitely does. So for a budget LPVO, it performed very well. If you're interested in picking one of these up, I'll include links in my written review on moondogindustries.com. Definitely use those links because it helps support this channel. And another way you can help support this channel is by simply hitting the like and subscribe buttons, because you're telling the algorithm that this is good content, the kind of content you actually like to watch, and it'll recommend it to other folks like you. So thanks again for watching. You be safe out there. Moondog, out. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please share it on forums, Facebook, Reddit, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, MeWe, whatever social media you're on. And if you want to see all of my videos, check out moondogindustries.com.